I was just watching Newsnight and they mentioned the word schism, or is it schism? It's either schism or schism. And immediately I thought, oh no, that's something that should be avoided because they mentioned it in that context as though a schism is something you wish to avoid. But if you think about it, a schism in the church might be a positive thing. It might be. Because if things have gone wrong over the last 70 years in the church and people don't make sense of the Bible because by the way they're interpreting it, it's causing all sorts of stresses and anxieties and problems and contradictions in people, and how society relates to the church and how the church relates to society across the spectrum of intelligences among people and what they're interested in and their roles, and also their natures. Because if has got into the church people with a bad nature, and that has influenced the way they interpret the Bible, then a schism is actually good because it puts to the question put the bishop to the question, as they say in chess. You're then actually forcing people to decide who's right, because a schism isn't just we think this and we think that, and those people think that. A schism can actually be worked out because you can then work out the arguments for the people on one side against the arguments on the people on the other side that caused the schism. And if it comes down to people's nature or intelligence or the way they interpret the Bible, those things can be measured and worked out. And so it's possible then to see the schism or schism, I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know. But when I heard them on Newsnight say schism, I thought, oh no, have I caused a schism in the church by my video talks? Or could I? Because nobody's watched them yet. And if they do watch them, it will cause a schism. But that's because some people are obstinate, because they've got an ulterior motive for taking the side of the schism that they want to take, which could either be based on their intelligence or their lack of understanding of the Bible or their nature. And so therefore a schism is like a resolving of people who disagree, and disagreement is something that should be expected, especially when you look at the history of the church over the last 80 years based on how the Bible has been interpreted. Because that obviously is a pointer towards a schism needing to happen. A volcano doesn't just erupt. You see little puffs of smoke coming from it. And then you hear some rumbling sounds. And that's been happening in the church over the last 80 years. And the people who are digging their heels in, who are being unreasonable, are not the ones who are making fresh talks and talks that are actually challenging intelligent and good-natured people. And people who would look at my video talks would be the people that would be blamed for causing the schism. Whereas actually it's the other way around. It's the people who want things to stay the way they are who are the cause of the schism. And the schism is actually a a separation and a cleansing and a cessation of the side that is at fault, which has to be resolved by a schism, because you can't just change people's minds who won't see what the problem is that they're responsible for. So on Newsnight tonight, when they mentioned the word schism, I thought, oh no, have I caused a schism? It's like I'm saying, have I caused an earthquake? Or have I caused a volcanic eruption? But you shouldn't see it like that, because a schism can actually be the start of putting things right. And so a schism isn't something permanent that then means something splits into two, where one side goes one way and the other side goes the other way. Because if that does happen, the side that is wrong will peter out and die, and the side that is right will start being healthy and draw healthy people to it, and intelligent people to it, and good-natured people to it, and reasonable people to it, to strengthen it. And it could be a new shoot, not the old, which you are actually finding doesn't make sense. Why, if they're right, are there all these anxieties in people and contradictions between what their heart is telling them and what their mind has been brainwashed to think by the leaders before the schism, which are contradictory to one another? So I hope there is a schism, because there's definitely something wrong at the moment in the world and in Britain. And it's not political, it's religious. And religion is at the basis of all politicians and journalists. Or I know they don't talk about the Bible on the television, but they play roles which are not roles from the Bible, they're just roles in life. But their belief is in the Bible. And therefore, if the Bible is wrong or the cause of a schism, then those people need to change sides and join and investigate what is it that has actually caused the schism, as being a cleansing and a separation of a rejection of what has been wrong. And the only way it can be put right, the schism, is for people to join the new side and strengthen it. And then the old side will just speak for itself, of showing itself for what it really is. So there will be a polarization of the two sides in the schism. One side will become healthy and strengthened, although it might be the new side that has been caused by my video talks. And the old side will just wither and become corrupt, more corrupt, and will come to a head, become an evil core that has to dry out and be isolated until it dies. Yes, and then the new will have to then cause the people who are the politicians and the journalists and the intelligent people to agree with the cause of the schism, so that the world can change to put the new interpretation of the Bible into political reality. Yes. Do you understand? That's the practical way it works. That's the practical thing that has to happen after a schism.